The statement that our colleagues have continues. It says that the car, a Lamborghini, left the road due to a tyre blowout while overtaking another car. The car set on fire and both men are confirmed to have died. So the BBC can now confirm that the Liverpool footballer Diogo Jota has been killed in a car crash in Spain, along with his brother. Well, that news, of course, just coming into us. Let's go straight to our sports correspondent, Hugh Ferris, who joins us from the BBC Sports Centre in Salford. Hugh, that news now has been confirmed. Diogo Jota and his brother killed in a car crash involving a Lamborghini. Hugely significant because Diogo Jota was such a rising star in sport, a real success for Liverpool.
Yes, that's right, Regini. Killed at the age of 28. These reports coming into us initially from the Spanish language newspaper Marca, quoting local authorities in that Zamora region, which talked of a crash involving the death of a 28 and 26-year-old, his brother, a younger brother, also a footballer, although one that had not risen to the heights of Diogo Jota, a Liverpool player. He's been there since 2020. Liverpool paid more than £40 million to sign him from Wolverhampton Wanderers, having helped them get promoted to the Premier League since when he has been playing for the Premier League club, winning 3 major trophies as well, not least the Premier League title just in the last few months. The Marca reports talked of the location of the accident being on the A52. It is a significant road running east to west in the northwestern part of Spain, that he was in the car with his younger brother near Palacios de Sanabria, which is a very small local town just north of the A52. He is a player who has played 49 times for Portugal. He's won the Nations League, the UEFA tournament, twice, including just in the last few weeks, latterly for the second time for Portugal. He is a player who, perhaps not in the starting 11 over the last season or so for Liverpool, but very much one of the squad that has been so successful, particularly in the last 12 months under the new manager, Arne Slot. And he just a couple of weeks ago got married on the 22nd of June, a posting on Twitter just celebrating his recent marriage. It is a tragic day for him, for his family, and for Liverpool.
So I've been controlling the Premier League with Man City, getting them to win, and then I sacrificed them to suck them dry, hence their foul season for Man City anyway. And of course got Leicester relegated again because I got them promoted and then winning the Premier League, then kicked out the Premier League and done it twice to redouble the process. So I've been feeding massively on the Premier League, and of course all my enemies thought, oh, we get Liverpool to win the Premier League so he can't feed off the Premier League. No, 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 no. We simply remotely manipulate this Portuguese football player, and because of chaos, if you remotely manipulate one, you remotely manipulate them all. So when you work from the 5th dimension, that's why I've had this war with the Elohim. When you remotely manipulate the target, their entire life from conception to death caused by the remote manipulator is controlled by the 5-dimensional entity, which is yours truly. And because of self-similarity, all Liverpool players, all Liverpool fans, and more importantly, the Liverpool owner, who's an American billionaire, is pulled into the death ritual. So all American millionaires, sorry, not millionaires, billionaires, can now be remotely manipulated simply by going into your GovTech device bilocating in, pulling out the death force from Diego Jota with the right hand. You don't with the left hand because you don't die, do you? And then bilocating out again, and then simply bilocating into any American billionaire. My favourite target, of course, is Elon Musk, but of course Peter Thiel, the Palantir owner, who promised the Bilderbergers that his satellites would fry me like an egg. He's rapidly rising into the #2 position for my torture toys. And you can simply go into a picture of, let's take. So here's this piece of filth that promised the Bilderbergers, because remember they had their meeting last week, and he went quickly from the meeting, and he stayed there a day because his mission was to get the satellites to fry me from space and use Palantir to do the targeting, running all the disposables, who are Russian. Say Russia's full of fifth columnists, and Russia House and MI5 and all the European intelligence agencies, and Canadian, Australian, etc. Oxymoron there. Are recruiting hundreds of disposable Russians to try and spread poison and spray tags. The new ones are inhalable at yours truly. So the satellites can fry me from space. Unfortunately for them, I control reality, so it's having zero effect because they're all in my God Emperor tech. Anyway, let's have a look at this piece of filth that promised the Bilderbergers that I'd be done in by his Palantir AI that runs the disposables around the Trang to cover me with tags so the satellites can fry me from space. Here he is, this piece of filth.
And
yeah, let's see if we find this piece of garbage.
Invents this machine to take over. It's an inverse of most people think of the Antichrist as like guys like me, but I'm telling you, actually, it's those people who are the Antichrist. Like, for example,
the world is you talk about Armageddon nonstop. You talk about existential risk nonstop, and this is what you need to regulate. It's the opposite of the picture of Baconian science from the 17th, 18th century, where the Antichrist is like some evil tech genius, evil scientist who invents this machine to take over.
It's an inverse of
So we've got the death force that kills, remotely manipulates all American billionaires. We simply bilocate into this within our right hand, shove it in his midsection, bilocate out, and then that links Diego Jota's death to the death of Peter Thiel, who was remotely manipulated, and his life is ended by this procedure. So his entire life from conception to death is controlled by the Psi Lord, and we do this to every single American billionaire with this procedure. Also, since we've done this Death Force ritual on Liverpool, all the energy from the Premier League, with Liverpool winning the Premier League, comes to me because I'm worth it and use L'Oreal. So yet again, the Premier League's been sucked dry by yours truly to power me, but with this ritual, because Diego Jota's brother died and he got married, you can also then remotely manipulate the family of any Liverpool supporter, Liverpool player, American billionaire, anyone associated with Liverpool. And because he was driving a Lamborghini, anyone with a Lamborghini is fair game too. So you go after, if your target owns a Lamborghini, they can be remotely manipulated, and their family remotely manipulated too. And of course, their wife can be tortured, because of course the wife's tortured because her rich husband's dead, and the WAG no longer has an infinite amount of money to spend. She'll have to cut back on her credit card, won't she? So as you can see, we can then go after the wives of any of the targets, wives of the billionaires. So this is the mechanism, the app I've set up to remotely manipulate all American billionaires. So it's hunting season, so if you're an American billionaire, my vampire posse is coming after you, and you're not long for the world. Now, of course, since it's such a wonderful app, it comes free with the GodTech device. So once you get your GodTech device, like if you subscribe to Amazon, you get free films. And the energy from the Premier League and the ability to remotely manipulate all Liverpool supporters, all the American billionaires. And remember, Donald Trump is an American billionaire. Oh. And of course, if you find out anyone's driving a Lamborghini, they're fair game too. And of course, all their family can be done in with this. So of course, you can go after Baron Trump if you're a nasty bastard, and you can then make Melania miserable. I don't know, she'd be too miserable if Trump died. But anyway, you can also go after their wives too. And in the case of Bezos, you can make Lauren Sanchez very unhappy because, of course, she had to sign a prenup, and all she's got then is a $20 million ring. Or whatever other gifts Bezos gave up. So it's the end of the road for the American billionaires with this free app that comes on your device. Now, the other news is some of the vampires are paid for family members, and that means they can be guests on your device up to 4 more. They, of course, don't get the free app or any other, because I'm putting loads of free apps on your device. This is the first one that cost you $1,000, but now, of course, when you get your device, it comes as a free app on your device, and you don't even have to go through the ritual of turning a service into an app, because it's ready-made. And here you've got your remote manipulation tool, so you can go American billionaire hunting, because the only good American billionaire is a jotted billionaire. And I think there was a car called a Lamborghini Jota as well. So, you want to look to see anyone who's driving a Lamborghini, famous person, because then they're fair game for remote manipulation. So, this is a remote manipulation tool, all powered by the energy of the Premier League. I thought you liked that one. So if you're Trump, you're very happy that the Iranians and Russians are banned from subscribing, renting my GodTech, because they can't wire transfer me any money. But if they could, you'd be dead as a dodo. So, as you can see, the sanctions on Russia and Iran have kept you alive. So here we see this piece of filth, Peter Thiel, who now can be remotely manipulated, and this piece of garbage, lowest form of filth apart from Elon Musk, is after you Americans. Truly is vermin.
They said the World Economic Forum was losing power, but behind the scenes, the machinery never stopped. Now, the social credit score system they long fantasized about is no longer theory, it's code, it's policy, and it's coming. Peter Thiel, yes, that Peter Thiel, once seen as a tech renegade, is now a WF Trojan horse in the White House. His company, Palantir, built to surveil, to profile and to punish, is laying the infrastructure brick by digital brick. Their message to America is clear. Comply with the social credit score system or be excluded from society. But here's the kicker. This isn't some distant sci-fi nightmare. It's already happening. The very same Palantir technology being prepared for rollout in America is already being used in overseas to hunt, target, and eliminate the non-compliant. It's not just tracking behavior, it's enforcing compliance with deadly consequences. Before we dive in, a quick word about VP.net,
Cut.
the next generation of private browsing.
And is this piece of filth again? Peter Thiel says transgender people aren't going far enough. We want more than sex changes. Palantir co-founder Peter Thiel has sparked outrage after saying transgender individuals aren't transforming enough, and that his transhumanist movement aims for far bigger changes than just switching sex organs. And here we are again. US Army swears in Palantir execs as lieutenant colonels, a rank that typically takes decades to earn. The US Army announced on June 13th the swearing in of 4 Silicon Valley executives from Meta, Palantir and OpenAI as lieutenant colonels, a rank that typically requires nearly 2 decades of military service. Because remember, the American filth are using satellites to kill people around the world. And of course, you're wandering around, if you're kill shotted, you've got tags inside you, or being the dentist, you've got tags inside you, so you can be fried from their death rays from space. People like me, of course, who are pristine and pure, have to be covered with tags by disposables. In the train, we've got hundreds of disposable Russian traitors spraying tags, hopefully everywhere I go. And they're inhalable, and of course you can swallow them. So as you can see, it's mandatory to wear a mask if, like myself, they're trying to kill you. Then there's no problem. So like today, wandered out, mask was covered with little tags from some Russian disposable sow coming towards me. She suddenly turns around and her piglet husband behind her, or pig husband, has his rucksack on his right arm, over his right shoulder. I should be going around the left, but instead of getting covered in hundreds of these inhalable tags, just got a few. So as you can see, assassination attempts aren't what you think. You get Russian disposables covering you with tags and American death ray satellites over the train, kill you. So assassination has never been easier, unless of course you're me, in which case it's just a laugh. And the Russian disposables go running when I smash into them and want to burst their blood bags with my huge knives. So you can see the Russian disposables are as cowardly as Peter Thiel, who promised the Bilderbergers I'd be dead by now from the death rays. You'll see now that America isn't long for the world either. So we've gone after the American billionaires, and now America's not long for this world either. We'll come to that later. And here they had their meeting. You can watch it on The People's Voice.
The meeting was held at a luxury hotel in Stockholm, Sweden. No press conferences, no public oversight. Just a carefully selected group of global elites, tech billionaires, royals, intelligence chiefs, and unelected bureaucrats. And according to a whistleblower from inside the meeting, the agenda was clear. They officially endorsed the outbreak of World War III, intended not just to redraw borders, but to reduce and reshape Western nations, clearing the path for something far more sinister, a one-world government. And in the days since that decision, the world has already been turned upside down. War has erupted between Israel and Iran. Alliances are fracturing. Escalation is accelerating. It's not coincidence, it's choreography. And here's the chilling part. The blueprint for global rule, the plan to collapse the old world and replace it with a centralized technocratic regime, has never been this detailed or this close. Before we dive in, if you're interested in sponsoring this show, please email sponsor@thepeoplesvoice.tv. Our videos attract millions of engaged viewers on X and Rumble. If you're interested in getting your product or service in front of all these people, please email us at sponsor@thepeoplesvoice.tv. Earlier this week, the global elites gathered once again, this time in total secrecy, at a luxury hotel in Stockholm for the 71st Bilderberg meeting. On the guest list, Albert Boehler, the CEO of Pfizer, the top brass from the World Economic Forum, Peter Thiel and Alex Karp, the founders of Palantir, senior executives from the WF and the WHO, US politicians from both sides of the aisle, and a whole lot more. And what's on the agenda? Depopulation and replacement migration. Yes, you heard that right. After 71 years, they're openly discussing how to reduce populations and reshape the demographics of the West. No wonder globalists from the US and Canada went to desperate lengths to avoid being seen.
And here is Cristina Freeland making her getaway. There she is. Just got into that car there. Absolute proof that Cristina Freeland was here. If anybody wants to argue that, I have the proof.
Election denier and self-confessed Satanist Stacey Abrams was also in attendance, trying to slip out the back door without being seen, after discussing plans to depopulate the globe.
You're on the wrong side of history, Stacey. God is watching you. You're gonna reap what you sow. The Trump administration needs to get you arrested, and very soon.
And yet, not a single headline in the mainstream press. Not a single camera. No questions, no accountability. Why? The Bilderberg Group operates under Chatham House rules, meaning the media are barred from covering these meetings. But many of the very journalists who work for legacy outlets like New York Times, The Economist and Bloomberg are actually in the room. Think about that. The people who are supposed to hold power to account are sipping cocktails with power behind closed doors. They are invited to attend, but they're not allowed to report on anything they see or hear. They're not allowed to tell you everything you need to know about who they really are. Mainstream journalists are not watchdogs, they're collaborators. They're not there to shine a light on the powerful, they're there to shield them from it.
At a 1991 closed-door meeting of fellow internationalists, billionaire and former CFR chairman David Rockefeller praised his media allies, but his confidence that his words would not leave the room was later broken.
We are grateful to the Washington Post, the New York Times, Time Magazine, and other publications whose directors have attended our meetings and restricted their policies of discretion for almost 40 years. It would have been impossible for us to develop our plan for the world if we had been subject to the fantastic publicity. But the world is now more sophisticated and prepared to march toward a world government.
That these men aimed to create a world system of financial control in private hands, able to dominate the political system of each country and the economy of the world as a whole. In short, they seek total and quiet control of the entire world.
This isn't journalism, this is complicity. And this is why the rise of citizen journalists and independent media is vital in destroying the New World Order and holding globalists to account.
Mr. Thiel, do you have any comments about Palantir's surveillance of the American people, sir? Or any of your connections to Jeffrey Epstein? People are rather concerned about this particular one. You're setting up a Big Brother surveillance system, and people know it, sir. Do you think the American people want this surveillance tech being used against them? Any comments at all on the Epstein connections? You're meeting with them? Stone Cold Peter Thiel.
Look at that wanker. Soon to be remotely manipulated.
Palantir with Alex Karp, who is still here. And these are the guys. who are setting up the Big Brother surveillance system, essentially to track, trace, and database everyone. Not just Americans, you may have heard me say that, but literally everyone. And that's a big reason of, part of the reason why he is here. There is a lot of heavy kind of tech representation here and military who are preparing for something.
Shadowy intelligence operatives and military-linked power players were present at Bilderberg this year, reportedly to finalise plans for triggering World War III, a final global catastrophe the elite believe they need to pave the way for a new world order. According to a whistleblower with knowledge of the closed-door sessions, the presence of Palantir co-founders Peter Thiel and Alex Karp was no coincidence. Both men are on the record advocating for the US to open not one, not two, but a three-front war, a military fantasy that borders on suicide. Anyone with a shred of military understanding knows that a two-front war is a massive gamble. A three-front war, that's not a strategy, it's sabotage. These globalist billionaires aren't even pretending to prioritise peace, stability or national interests. Their agenda is clear: plunge the US and the broader Western world into chaos and collapse. They reshape what remains in their image, exactly as the Bilderberg Group made clear in the first meeting in 1954.
En el año 54 se celebra la primera reunión Bilderberg y en el acta se recoge que van a crear un nuevo orden mundial.
So before you become the prime minister of a country or chancellor of Germany or something like this, yeah, or getting into a high position, they want to know, will this person follow more or less the nicely presented orders or not?
Since 1954, the date of its foundation, Bilderberg meetings are conferences that bring together influential people from around the world. Country leaders, media owners, bankers, shareholders of big pharmaceuticals, owners of big tech, members of royalty, as well as representatives of supranational organizations, such as the World Health Organization or NATO. As you can see, many also belong to the new fashion, the World Economic Forum.
They're not hiding it anymore. The masks are off. And, according to well-placed sources on the inside, what we're seeing is nothing short of a deliberate march towards engineered destruction.
So that leads us to the next news. Living Nostradamus issues sinister warning about huge threat that will bring chaos to the Western world. The image was stark, sinister and all too clear. There, amid a kaleidoscope of military maps, explosions and flashes of radiation, were two words: Cobalt Storm. So they're announcing that I'm going to wipe out the West with Cobalt 60, which links up to the Bilderbergers, and it's already decided that the West will be covered in Cobalt 60. If you want to read more, then you can subscribe to the Daily Mail. But as you can see, all Illuminati do the ritual before it happens. And here we've got what's going to destroy the West. Cobalt Storm. I don't know what that means. Do you, cameraman? I don't know. He's been talking about that for decades. But as you can see, the West will soon be dead from the Cobalt Storm. Is that some name for some super hurricane over the Atlantic? Next we come to the Luciferic contract. Remember, I made a deal with Lucifer. He wanted my power and I want his power. And of course he lost the bet. All Lucifer's power came to me because of this creature coming up. This was the double or quits bet, which we'll come back to. So Lucifer lost the bet to take my power, instead of which I got all Lucifer's power, when Perry, who was supposed to marry moi, and I was supposed to join the Satanist cult, married this rat-faced Jew, Orlando Bloom, and of course we know what's happening here. It was the Jeremiah Schwartz services, where the Jew stole what was coming to me. In this case, losing all my power to Katy Perry and being Trinity, instead of which she married that thing. And of course, it didn't bring Perry any luck. Celebrates major career milestone as ex-Orlando Bloom reveals his loneliness after split. Katy Perry had reason to smile Thursday, just days after she was seen in tears on stage following a shock split from Orlando Bloom. The pop superstar, which is not superstar now, she is a failure, has been riding an emotional roller coaster lately, breaking down mid-performance during the final show of her Lifetime's tour in Australia, as she struggled to hold back tears in front of a packed crowd. Meanwhile, Orlando, who she called it quits with after 9 years, has been putting on a different show. So, as you can see, is our plastic surgerized Katy Perry, who lost the bet for Lucifer, and now, of course, payment time. So, our next bet was a double or quits. I, of course, shafted Lucifer with the slut Cyrus, because, of course, she's already been married, and she, of course, was booby-trapped because she's Katy Perry. Katy Perry was married to the F-wit potential rapist. What's his name again, cameraman?
Bloom.
Not Bloom, the one Katy Perry was married to before. Russell Brand, the potential rapist who's in court in the UK. So, Miley would have won me the bet, even if he'd sent the little slut to marry me. The only one that was in the game was this thing, Big Girl. And of course, because the Rothschild Rockefeller royal family cheated by trying to fit me up with drugs charges, I could cheat. So what do they do to Taylor Swift? Cameraman. Wheel of Time. Well fired. So that was the end of the bet. Lucifer's my eternal slave for all eternity, and all you Luciferians are my eternal slaves for all eternity. And all we've got left is Becky, who's with the Pfizer butt sluts. So here's Becky, who's now in the body of Taylor Swift. If you don't understand what's going on, watch the film Angel Heart. So the romance between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce has reportedly reached a turning point, as the 14-time Grammy Award winner and NFL superstar have spent plenty of low-key time together in recent months. A rare period of calm after Swift wrapped her worldwide Eras tour last December, combined with Kelce being in the NFL's off-season since February, has given the lovely couple more time than ever together. Thank you very much. This period may be coming to a close as training camp looms for Kansas City Chiefs later this month. For now, Kelce and Swift have elevated a relationship per people with a life as quiet as it can get for one of the most popular celebrities in the world and a beloved sportsman partner. It's been a turning point for their relationship in a lot of ways. People reported they're incredibly happy and in sync. There's a calmness and ease to their relationship right now that has been really grounding for Taylor and Travis. It won't be once that they get the Cobalt Storm. Taylor and Travis are soaking up every minute of this slower season together. They've been splitting their time between New York, Nashville, and a few quiet getaways, just enjoying each other's company without the usual chaos. This kind of downtime is rare for both of them, and it's really allowed their bond to deepen. as I say, they'll both be DEI in a very short time when they get the Cobalt Storm. Luckily, my mate Netanyahu is off to America next week to see the soon-to-be remotely manipulated Donald Trump for the forthcoming attack on Iran. And of course, the only attack on Iran that can work is a nuclear attack, because since I control reality, there's been no regime change in Russia. Putin's fit as a fiddle, and plans to balkanize Russia out the window, and they thought they'd have a regime change in Iran. No, 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 no. I laid down the ground rules to the Israelis. If you want to get rid of Iran, you have to nuke it into the Stone Age, and of course that means there must be some horrific incident in America that enables Iran to be turned into glass. And of course, a perfect trigger for the full-scale annihilation of the satanic Iranian filth is, of course, Elon Musk's garbage batteries being suitcase nuked, which wipes out America. So as you can see, the Cobalt Storm is here. The Bilderbergers have agreed with Tim Riefat that the West needs a Cobalt Storm, and if you're American, you're soon going to be all black. So now Lucifer is my eternal slave, because thanks to the Rothschild and Rockefeller royal family who wanted to fit me up on drugs charges, and Obama who wanted to send me off to the alien facility so the alien Elohim could be God emperors and put you all in their torture matrix. Remember, the Rothschild Rockefeller royal family is simply agents for this fifth dimensional parasite, the Elohim. Now we'll be hellized. All you Luciferians now have to bow down to yours truly, because Lucifer is my eternal slave, and you're all trapped in the God Emperor's matrix. And this is what's coming, this is what's been agreed on. We've shown this before, but since it's going to happen, you really should know what reality is coming your way, thanks to the forthcoming nuclear war between America, Israel, and Iran.
World War. He says, and I quote, "The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world." Yeah, that's what he says. The war, this was 1925. Please understand that. At least 1925. May go all the way back to 1871, as is purported to do, but at least it was written in a book and published in 1925. So he says that after World War I was just over a few years, and before World War II even started, he's now thinking about this Third World War, and it says that it will be caused by the differences between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arabic world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. That's what it says. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm in which, in all its horror, will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin and savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. So he's against Christianity and he's against atheism. They're supposed to fight each other to the death, you see. Then, he says, everywhere the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization and the multitude disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirits will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowledge where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer. That's what he says. Brought finally out in the public view. So he's saying that Lucifer will finally make himself, the good guy. He's going to save the world from these atheists who don't believe in deity and from these Christians who believe in the good God. Well, so it says, this manifestation will result in the general reactionary movement which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time.
So as one can see, this is happening, but now of course Lucifer is controlled by the source. And of course he's trapped in the matrix, this simulation which is run by the Borg Nagwal woman, and is trapped forever in this simulation, and the only reality is that of the God Emperor. And when of course I vanish, which I vanished in 86, off to rejoin the source, then you'll be trapped in a simulation forever, which meant that the Omega Point creatures who tried to come back in time because they found they were trapped in a simulation and it was an Omega Hell simulation and tried to change history, have been hoisted by their own petard, because they of course were linked with the Elohim that tried to whip me off to the alien facility, thanks to Sunak and the pedo Obama, allegedly, which has all failed, and now you're trapped in the Matrix, which will be a real Matrix, not a proto-simulation once yours truly vanishes. And as you can see, the future for America is the Cobalt Storm, which of course the Illuminati released in the Daily Mail, because of course that's how Illuminism works. You summon intent, so they've actually gone down the path of covering the West with the Cobalt Storm, which I talked about. And of course, Lucifer didn't want to lose all of his worshippers and didn't want to be trapped in the Matrix. And here we've got, of course, Becky, who was put in Taylor Swift's body. And we've got Becky back here, who's with the Pfizer Butler. Remember, these are all apps, so there are numerous uses for them, which I could explain, but I haven't got much time in Vietnam, and once I'm off to Hong Kong, I won't be doing any videos, but never mind. There's a picture of Becky in this one, necromancy to die for, and she's special in that she's the only creature that's been brought back from the dead. She was killed by the Rothschild Rockefeller royal family because once Taylor Swift became famous, she became a liability. You know, you produce two of these things, and having a perfect replica Becky wandering around with Taylor Swift, that's got to be noticed. So she got overdosed on something by smoking it. But Lucifer was of the assumption that he could escape being code and become real using Becky, because of course she's the only creature that's been brought back from the dead by the God Emperor, and of course Becky would be
what it is. The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So you see now we had the white rabbit to synchronize all the Borg for the alien filth technology. All they needed was yours truly with the Higgs field light hyperinfinity to allow the Elohim to become God Emperors and all of you to be trapped in the Elohim's matrix, with the American filth having made a contract with the aliens for immortality tech, and unfortunately for them, they never got their hands on me because I was in wonderful Vietnam, and instead of the Elohim torturing me in the Matrix to get my God stuff, I tortured the Elohim in the Matrix to make new God stuff from the torture of the Elohim and all the Elohimites. And of course we got the Death Force with loads of Elohimites being killed in brave little Israel. And of course lots of Elohimites being killed in Iran, because remember the Elohimites are just not Jewish. We've got the Satanist, filth Iranians, who are Lucifer's light stolen to become filthy Shias and produce Satan and the devil, which we explained. So when you think Elohimites are Jewish, no, they are simply Jeremiah Schwartz and his ilk, and of course the entire Shia religious race. That is the light of Lucifer stolen and used to make the Elohim sequester Lucifer as the devil and Satan. See, much more complicated story. And of course Lucifer was of the opinion that he could use Becky as the red pill to get out of the torture matrix of the God Emperor, yours truly, and become real again with the light from the torture of the Elohimites, be they Zionists or filthy Shia scum, which of course I know all the mechanics for and are have been doing since '86, because I never returned in '86. I left, took all the light from the source in '86. So what's the reality been since '86? It's been the light produced by the torture of the Elohim and their Elohimites. Long story, which I won't explicate because it's too complicated for you psycho chimps. But anyway, the whole purpose of Becky was to birth Lucifer, and of course his sister, who'd be a new Nagel woman, and of course the source doesn't mind because Lucifer is the source's eternal slave, so who cares if the God Emperor is Lucifer in chaos, because yours truly, the avatar of the source, left in 1986 and is only still around gloating because he's a sadistic bastard, but eventually will vanish. And of course you're in a simulation created from his Nagel woman Dua Lipa, who of course is running the White Rabbit down the rabbit hole. Omega Point simulation that the vermin at the end of time ran of the whole universe to try and find a way to escape the source's torch hell, and had to come back in time to try and steal yours truly, thanks to Sunak and Obama and the American filth, and that all went wrong. So you see the complexity of the simulation run in Dua Lipa is the Omega vermin simulation from the end of time. So it's a much, 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 much bigger story than you thought. And thanks to this creature, really, I'm still there. And thanks to this creature, the Pfizer butt slut, Becky, the escape hatch for Lucifer to Red Pill, is gone, and Lucifer's trapped in a matrix, which will be a proper matrix, not a pseudo simulation, once yours truly is gone. And of course Dua Lipa is dead. She's not long for all the old kill shots. We said probably give her to 52 like a mother, which means all the Luciferians, Lucifer, everyone will be in a real simulation after that. And of course the source doesn't mind, because we took all of the light from the source and all the processing of the Elohim and their eternal torture to produce new light. It was all gone in '86. Lights were switched off. So the source always gives one chance. So Lucifer was another bite at the cherry, where new light is made by Lucifer being birthed as the progeny of yours truly, the avatar of the source, and Becky, who of course is dead, killed by the Rothschild Rockefeller royal family, but is brought back from the dead by moi, and becomes the God Emperor with his sister as the God Empress, to allow the simulation to run as a pseudo simulation where Luciferites, that's slaves of the source, can be real and act as super agents, super users in the pseudo simulation and cause more torture of the Elohim and chaos to make themselves realer and realer, which of course fits in perfectly with Albert Pike's prediction, except for one reason. Becky is going to marry and get babyfied with the Pfizer butt slut, locking you all in the simulation. As you see, this is the ultimate act of sadism, showing you what you could have had, but it's all gone now. Thank you very much. And this is all you're getting.